Good evening, everybody. I am Ryan, alongside for the first time I'm able to introduce Joel as meteorologist, Joel Fritzl.
Hi.
We are live tonight for our weekly live stream we do every single Monday evening at 7 p.m. We're going to talk about upcoming systems to watch, our temperature forecast, and a little bit into the long term as well. So let's go ahead and start the evening by popping out the chat here. We got Axe, Crystal, James, Tommy, Ashley, Isaac, Sarah, Mike, Skylar, Carol, Richard. Good evening, guys. What's up? Good to see you guys in here with us rocking on this Monday evening. Let's go ahead and start with our forecast in terms of temperatures. We have a little bit of a throwback to our old software we used last winter in terms of our forecasting of winter patterns and such. Welcome back to Weather Models. This is our newly acquired website we're going off of to kind of share information with you guys. A little bit more easier to read as well. This is your temperature forecast the next 15 days based out of the Big Rapids area. We're going to see a little bit of a warm up to start our week. We had 50s today across a good chunk of Michigan, but going back down into the 30s for tomorrow through midweek. And then around that weekend time frame, around that Friday evening, Saturday morning time frame, we're going to have another cold snap, which could bring us a lake effect snow round around that weekend time frame. We'll talk about that here in a second. But then past that towards Christmas, I know many of you are getting excited for Christmas. It's right around the corner, 9 days away. The forecast for that time frame, it looks to turn back to warm right at Christmas Day. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Let's go ahead and dive into the future here. Going off the NAM model, the next couple days of our precipitation chances. Starting with Wednesday, we're going to be looking at a snow chance coming off from the west, light snow accumulations for a good chunk of Michigan. Rain to the south in Ohio. All snow for us is expected currently early Wednesday morning, could be right around that 4 a.m. time frame. So just in time for our morning commute on Wednesday. That'll move through the day on Wednesday, exit the state a little bit later on in the afternoon and evening, and then we're going to dry back out. We have a forecast that we posted earlier today for snowfall, and here it is for Wednesday. A good chunk of Michigan in a 1 to 2 zone from roughly Gaylord down to Lansing, and then around that, a trace to 1 there in White. Up in the UP, the western half, 2 to 4, and then the east north central half of the UP up by Newberry in a 2 to 4 as well. That is our first call. We'll do our final call, final outlook tomorrow afternoon for you guys. Jumping back into the models here, going a little bit further into the long-term period, we're looking at Friday for our next system. So here's Wednesday's system on the GFS model. Going to go into our Friday. Attention turns to our west. This one could be a little bit more so potent than the other one. This is going to move in for our Friday right around, actually go back to the NAM here. God, I wasn't used to GFS. Go back to the NAM. The NAM, there's our first system. And then second system is off to the west here, moving in. This could bring us a few inches of snow as well around that late Thursday, early Friday time frame for us here in Michigan. Now, we're not so sure on totals just yet, but I would suggest we could get at least probably 2 to 4 again out of this in a good chunk of Michigan. We'll keep track of that. Another forecast going for you guys probably tomorrow, if not Wednesday, for your secondary system that's arriving Thursday night into Friday. Going into the long term, an active pattern continues to dominate going past the weekend. We're going to notice a couple things here. We're going to have system number 1 around the Monday time frame. Looks like a Clipper system. Northern Michigan snow chances there. Then another active pattern continues here through the Christmas time frame. This is Christmas Eve now on the models. We have some precip in the area shown as rain moving up into the area, and then rain for Christmas Day to start, drying back out for Christmas Day. And then this is going to usher in a warmer pattern going back here to the model. We're going to look at that Christmas time frame, which is right here where you see that 37 mark for Wednesday. That's Christmas. And then we're going to see that warm up here back into the 40s between Christmas and New Year's Day. So right now, white Christmas chances are highest for lake effect snow areas. So western lower Michigan and the UP. That is going to be your highest chance for white Christmas. I don't think we're going to get there for East Michigan unless we get good snowfall out of the system coming through Thursday night into Friday. That's really our only hope for a white Christmas If that can stick around through Christmas Day, we'll have a chance. But otherwise, it's looking a little bit on the lower side for East Michigan. But for West Michigan, could definitely see a chance for some white Christmas across portions of our lake effect belts. Going into the future, speaking of a warmer pattern, the CPC updated their outlook between Christmas Eve and we're going to say the eve of New Year's Eve, to December 30th to be exact. The entire U.S. is essentially in an above average temperature contour here. That is an 80 to 90% chance of above average temperatures there shown on the map for a good chunk of the U.S. So what is average, you ask? Average for this time of year? Right around 32 degrees. So we're looking above freezing, unfortunately for you guys. But there is good news about our long term, and that is January is looking cold and looking snowy still for at least the second week and onward, going into the long term as well. Going to week 3 to 4, the first week of January is also looking warmer than average. This is December 28th through January 20th or January 10th, above average contour for, again, the entire U.S. And then going off of the December overall, we are still likely going to finish below average in Eastern Michigan, but everywhere else will be right around average when all is said and done. Going into the long term a little bit here, we look to teleconnections. We call them the EAO, the NAO, NPO. There's a plethora of different teleconnections we look to. Ocean temperature, stuff like that affect our climate, jet stream, stuff like that. This is a very simple one to understand. We call it the NAO. And basically when the bar here is above that middle black line, that means we're going to be probably on the warmer side of average. And when it dips below into the negatives, that's when we have the cold air from Canada kind of penetrate further south more easily. So what we're seeing here throughout the month of December, the dates are on the bottom of your screen. So starting with December 16th over here, finishing December 31st, we're seeing that above average, but then a return as we get closer to the January to a more normal pattern, possibly as we enter January. So overall, expect your temperatures to be above average past Christmas. But first, let's get through this week with that cold blast upcoming for the weekend. I'll keep a track of that and any lake effect snow chances beyond that. I would say lake effect snow chances are possible as we get that blast of cold air. Once again, similar to the past 2 times we've had it, I would expect there to be a response with lake effect snow roughly Friday or Saturday. How much, we still can't say, but overall pattern would support that through the weekend time frame. Did I miss anything?
I believe so.
And then looking at a little bit wider view here before we hop into the comments for some questions. This is your temperature map, pretty simple to understand. The warmer colors are warmer, cooler colors are cooler. We're seeing that cold air up in Canada push further south here, and it arrives around that weekend time frame right about here. Right about there. So as that kind of dips further south in the Midwest. So again, colder week upcoming to finish off. All right, to the comments. If you guys got comments about the week, feel free to drop it in chat or weather questions in general. We are here at your disposal for a few minutes. We'll gladly take some comments and questions. I see a lot of congratulations, Joel, in the chat here. And yes, congratulations to Joel graduating from CMU.
Thank you.
He is officially our chief meteorologist. So we are looking forward to many, many upgrades, updates, and hopefully easier communication with our severe weather, winter weather coverage in the near future. We have a lot of stuff we're cooking up behind the scenes. We have a lot of stuff planned. We're excited to share with you guys.
Yeah, this is a big organization week for us, so we're getting a lot of stuff done behind the scenes for you.
Kim asks, so snow Thursday for Chelsea. So I would say it's going to be, if it's going to be for Chelsea, the second system is kind of up in the air in terms of exact track. But if Chelsea gets snow, it'll likely be around that late Thursday, early Friday morning timeframe. So overnight period for you. And also for most of Michigan here, with exception to the Western UP, the model here says snow starts up there a little bit sooner, right around that Thursday afternoon time frame. But by Thursday evening, late Thursday, we'll see that snow move across the state there. So right now, timing for you guys in lower Michigan, if it impacts you guys that far south, would be roughly overnight Thursday into Friday morning. Yes, Isaac, orange shirts. We have orange shirts available for MSC. And also good plug here, shameless plug. With Christmas coming up, we do have merch available. Not just MSC, but weather themed merch. If you guys know Weather Geeks, we have a website for you, helicity.co. Link is up top there. Joel, is there a licensing exam for meteorology?
A licensing exam? I
See,
mean,
Geraldine asks in chat here.
certain universities allow like a broadcast certificate sort of thing, so it's only like 4 classes, so you'd be there for like a total of like a year. So it's like I split it in like 2 classes for one semester, 2 classes for another, but not at Central. I went to Central Michigan. They just have a full-fledged program. It took me the full 4 years and then some to finish. So a lot of universities are like that. So keep that in mind. Again, meteorology is a tough degree. If you're very math smart, you have to take through Calc 4. You also have to take through University Physics 1 and 2, as well as the labs. And not to forget all the meteorology classes as well, including atmospheric thermodynamics, one of the toughest classes. So
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Crystal asks, will the roads be safe to travel Thursday or Friday this week? So if the roads are going to be impacted, likely probably Friday morning. Maybe if it speeds up a little bit, maybe late Thursday evening. But for Friday morning commute, I'd say it would be the most impactful with the second system coming through. But don't forget about the system coming through as well for your Wednesday. Wednesday morning could be slick as well. So there's 2 systems to be exact. One early Wednesday through the day Wednesday, and the one coming late Thursday into early Friday. Again, our snowfall map for the first system is right here for a reference. This is our first call. We'll do a final forecast tomorrow. Just for reference there, 1 to 2 for a good chunk of lower Michigan. Not a big snowfall, but hey, definitely could get a few slick spots on the roads. And honestly, if 1 inch is covering the road, it's honestly the same as 3 or 4 because everything is slick with snow. So what makes it harder to predict snow over rain as in amounts? That's a great question, John. So with rain, would you be upset if we forecasted a 1/2 inch of rain and you end up getting a 1/4 inch or instead maybe 3/4 of an inch? I don't think anybody's gonna be mad. But that difference of a 1/4 inch in winter terms, it could be the difference of 5, 6 inches of snow. So that is why winter, hopefully, that kind of puts things in perspective, why winter is more so difficult to predict because we're trying to forecast precipitation down to the nearest 1/10 of an inch to your backyard. And it's not easy, and especially with lake effect snow. Winds could change direction. That shifts our snow bands. Like there's a lot of variables here, especially in Michigan, that other states don't have. Lake effect snow being the main driver, but still, that is hopefully that kind of explains it and puts it in perspective for you.
Yeah, and our warmer summer this year allowed those lakes to get warmer and stay warmer a lot later into the season. So that's why we've seen such copious amounts of lake effect snow so far, especially for those areas further north up there and in the UP. Again, we mentioned this in our last stream, Ryan, with the it's called a fetch, which is how much available lake is there for lake effect snow to develop. And that includes Florida Northern Lower Peninsula, Lake Superior, and Lake Michigan, given that you have a northwest flow down from the northwest. Same thing with Lake Superior. You also have all that distance across Lake Superior, whereas, downstate here in West Michigan, we don't get as much because we just have Lake Michigan, and depending on the winds, that's not as large of a fetch. So,
right.
But again, lake temperatures play a huge role in lake effect snow anyways. So.
And Nika brings up a good point in chat here that 1 degree can make a difference here as well. And degrees, it can go into your snow ratios, and snow ratios can go into how much snow accumulates, how much precip falls. It's very complicated. We can't sit here all night and explain all the formulas that go into this, but it's extremely difficult to predict snow. That is why you should stay anonymous. People get so mad at wrong predictions. Hey, I mean, if we're wrong, we're wrong. We're not going to be afraid to admit that. This is Michigan after all. Weather is unpredictable, but I think we do a pretty good job. We try to, at least.
Yeah.
So I see a couple questions here. Hope the weather is good for our Detroit Lions being outside in Chicago on Sunday. It's going to be cold. It's going to be very cold Sunday. I would expect Chicago to be probably in the 20s for a high. It's all going to melt around Christmas time and New Year's. That is a decent point, although I'd say some places up in northern Michigan that have 2 feet of snow on the ground, they're not going to be able to melt all that. They're also going to be cooler up there than opposed to down further south in southern Michigan. So I don't think all the snow is going to go away for our snow belts, but it will for most of you guys in southwest Michigan who are going to be close to 50 degrees for a few days. So again, southeast Michigan snow chances here for you guys is going to ride heavily on these systems coming this week. There's one here for early Wednesday morning through Wednesday, and a second system that looks to be a little bit more potent coming for Thursday night into Friday. If we can sneak 3 inches out of this storm, it's going to be cold enough to stay at least through Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. It may be melting through Christmas Day though, but if we can sneak a few inches of snow out of our system Friday, we're going to have a decent shot at a white Christmas, or at least at very least a white Christmas Eve. I also want to mention this as well. We talked briefly about how January is looking kind of cold and snowy. I pulled up a little bit of a visual reference here for you guys. This is based out of Lapeer. Lapeer it's on the east side of Michigan in the thumb. They don't really get lake effect snowfall. So this is a good kind of example to show you guys. This is a snowfall map based on date and model members. So on the left side of your screen, you see 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. That's the model member number. On the right side of your screen, this is your snowfall gradient. So down here is 1 inch in gray. Up here in purple is 48 inches. We're seeing January signs that eastern Michigan snowfall is indeed coming. So we see our first system here right around the December 21st timeframe. That's our systems this week, putting snow down for eastern Michigan. But if we look to the future here, mid-January looks very, very snowy. And also it lines up good with cold temperature maps or averages showing up for that same time frame. So we're turning attention more so to mid-January or so for our first good snowfall chances for southeast Michigan. So I wanted to show you guys that, a little bit of a reference there. You can kind of see the pinks pick up there right around the January 6th to January 14th timeframe. It really increases. Almost every single model member here has 10 plus inches by that time frame by the end of January. So keep that in mind for East Michigan. I know we have a lot of snow lovers in there from East Michigan. Your guys' time is coming. Lions game forecast for Sunday in Chicago is 29 degrees and partly sunny. Obviously some wind there in Chicago, but that's going to be a little bit cold for you guys. And also the Lions have played most of their games this year indoors. So another test for I'm not going to say that term. The media likes to call us weak for playing indoors, but you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, we just played a game in Green Bay so far this year and we beat them. So
I'm more concerned about our injuries.
That is true. Aurora question in there, Ryan.
Aurora question. Who?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Crystal. Do you guys know if there's going to be Aurora chances? Okay, so good question. We actually have some tonight, but unfortunately, Michigan's permacloud is in place. So if we pop open this SWPC map here, we can actually, last I checked at least, it was looking pretty decent for at least a UP, if not northern lower. It looks like it's kind of come down a little bit first, or for a little while. 34 on the HPI, so not terrible for the UP, but again, clouds. So we're not going to see it if anything does happen, unfortunately. And also, the sun has been pretty quiet in terms of solar flares. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. We haven't been having many chances. And if there were, we post about it. But it's been a pretty quiet stretch since we had the clouds move in, which is honestly good news. We're not missing anything huge. Any other questions, guys? Any winds predicted with the system on Thursday evening? So both systems do not look windy. They're clipper type systems, which typically don't really produce wind. They come out of Alberta, Canada. They kind of move quickly, dump a few inches of snow, and that's about it. So I'm going to say no winds expected. Drew says, since Joel graduated, Ryan must dance. We're going to refuse that.
Darn it.
I'm going to refuse that offer. Thanks, Drew, though.
It's okay. One of these days. Once we get
When we
to 100,000 on YouTube, I know it's happening.
107,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll do it.
Long way to go.
If we play our cards right, we'll get there by the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already discuss the next opportunity for Michigan to develop significant snowpacks? So good question there, Freedom. Right now, nothing huge on the horizon. We have some tiny systems. We're going to call them tiny in comparison to what we had the past couple of weeks. A few inches of snow possible this week. Lake effect snow chances this weekend, yes, but right now it's hard to say if it's going to be significant or not. In terms of big synoptic snowfall, I don't see anything on the horizon, but I would point to January, mid-January for that time. We're going to watch for a cold and snowy pattern. Appreciate that, Alec. When synoptic snow systems take over, do lake effect chances end? The answer is no. In fact, synoptic snowfall systems can enhance snowfall if they're moving in the right direction. That's because, okay, think of it this way. The past couple systems we've had lake effect snow have been too warm for rain or too warm for snow across a good chunk of Michigan here. But on the back side of those systems, as they pass off into Canada or in the East Coast, the winds on the backside of those systems usually turn out of the northwest. And that is what kicks up our lake effect snow. It also helps to bring in cold air down from Canada. So, no, synoptic snowfall will not put an end to lake effect snow. The later we get in the year, the colder our lakes become. That may put an end to our lake effect snow, but we have to get really cold and get really frozen water for that to happen. So, right now, we're still at record warmth, and that will continue to support lake effect snow.
Mickey's asking here on Facebook, is there any scientific data to back the saying red skies in the morning, sailors be warned, and red skies at night, sailors delight? That is something they did not teach us in school, given that is a urban sort of, I don't know, kind of just something that's kind of legend. Urban myth. That's kind of been floating around. Scientifically, though, I guess you can contribute it to the cloud decks that are currently in place in the morning or at night and the angle of the sun underneath it. So it's as simple as that. But no, they did not teach us that in college, if there's any real reason to that. So,
and that also, I can go off kind of expand on that just a bit. Sometimes red sky can also be an indication of moisture or types of systems in the area, but a lot of times you're going to find that correlation with a lot of things like prettier sunsets or duller sunsets. There's a lot of different things we can go into this, but overall, it's not a really good indicator now. See you, Crystal. Thanks for popping on. What does the number 1016 above the L on the screen mean? That's a good question. So 1016 is basically just a measure of how deep the low pressure system is in millibars. So we're seeing that as 1016 or 1016 millibars. If we move it back here, you're probably going to see it. There's 1017. So you can see it's now 1017, 1016, 1015. So it's slowly dropping. So it means it's kind of strengthening, although it's not significant strengthening. 1 millibar is not that big of a difference. All right. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Drew, that is a pretty weak low pressure system. Again, you would probably want something 1009 or lower to really get some good synoptic snow going. Also, with those isobars being closer together, you get the wind chances ramping up. But This is just a meager little synoptic little storm coming through on Wednesday. So
It's very similar to an Alberta Clippers, so those are typically pretty weak in nature. They can pack a punch sometimes in terms of snowfall, but they usually pass pretty quickly without any triumph.
yeah. My
Thank
goodness.
you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jas with the 50 gifted memberships here on YouTube. Thank you, Jas. As always, one of our mods here, longtime mods and longtime donators. Thank you as always. If you are a subscriber here on our YouTube channel, again, those are for you guys. Check your account. You may have just been gifted courtesy of Jas. So thank you, Jas.
And we're going to go ahead and gift 5 of our own, Joel. I'm just making an executive decision to do that.
Okay.
Just because. So let me pop on here. We're going to about to give 5 of our own that YouTube gives us to freely pass out. All right, let it load in here. All right, here we go. And there we go. Unfortunately, we can't match 50, but we can do 5, and that will put us out for the end of the month. So January, we'll have to do more.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, Jas, and also welcome to the 55 new members that just got gifted those memberships here at Michigan Storm Chasers.
Reminder, those are in effect for 30 days if you get the free one from someone else. Otherwise, if you do not up it at the end of the month, basically it just expires on its own. It's on you guys to up it if you want to. So,
Red Dozer back with $50 per chat. Says, hi, guys. Hi, Red. Good to see you back in here. And thank you for your generous donation, as always. Another longtime supporter of us here at MSC. Appreciate you, Red.
Good question, Skylar. How do long-term models make a prediction on what's coming? Weather balloons, yes. Collection of all the weather balloons launched twice a day from about 120 different National Weather Service offices around the nation, and then a bunch of different other offices around the world as well, because you need data from all across the globe to make it complete. And again, those are run every 12 hours at our time, about 7 a.m. and then 7 p.m. Or if you know Zulu time, 12Z and 0Z every day. Basically just measures all the moisture, winds, everything you need to know about the atmosphere from the ground all the way up until drop pause, which the balloon eventually pops, but that's not for a long time. Yeah, we measure pressure in a bunch of different ways. It's either millibars or it's barometric sea pressure, mean sea level pressure, or you also have inches of mercury as well. So a bunch of different ways you can measure pressure.
If you look behind me, right there, that's actually a barometer.
On the full screen, yeah. There you go.
Yep. Also got an Amazon package behind me that somebody sent us about a week ago. Haven't opened that yet, but we'll do that here soon.
Pascals. Oh yeah. Don't get me started about that, Isaac. Or Drew, sorry.
Any other questions, guys? What do you think, Joel? You want to pop out of here?
Yeah. Keep organizing our stuff.
Yep. Got a lot of work to do. Again, for those of you just tuning in, we have full-time meteorologist Joel Fritzman with us now. We have a lot of new exciting things to roll out to you guys, new products, new everything. So we're just busy cranking away behind the scenes here. So we'll get back to work here. If you're just tuning in, I would say go back and watch the first about 9 or 10 minutes of the video. We talk about the entire week in depth. We have multiple snow chances this week. First one, Wednesday morning through Wednesday. Second system that could be a little bit more potent Thursday evening into Friday morning. And then we're going to cool off for the weekend and warm up right around Christmas. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end the video here on a shout out to our video sponsors. We have 3 of them today. We have first up, we have Cats, who's been with us for a few months now. So thank you to Cats Roofing and Siding. 517-485-9886 is your contact based out of Lansing. The roofing, siding, windows, and gutters. We also have Storm Guard based out of Detroit Metro. They do Macomb and Oakland counties. 248-985-3239. They do roofing and construction primarily. Thank you to Storm Guard. And finally, Lifestyle Exteriors, our new one here at MSC. They are based out of 2 areas, Traverse City and Lansing, and they do roofing, siding, window, gutters, among other home improvement needs. 989-854-3055 is your number there. Thank you to those 3 sponsors today for sponsoring our video. If you want to be a sponsor, feel free to contact us via email. contact@michiganstormchasers.com is your email to get a hold of us. With that being said, we will see you guys later.
All right.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you around.